What's up, guys? It's Jay with Prepared Citizens Training Group. Thank you for watching. I thought there'd be no better way to start the first official, YouTube video than with gun safety. It's something most people that are into preparedness, they're probably going to venture into at some point, owning a firearm. And the firearm safety rules is something that is not to be looked over at all. It's something taught throughout the military, law enforcement, any high-end firearm users. They're going to be very accustomed to these rules. The rules started from the legendary Jeff Cooper. He got them started because in our military there was a lot of negligent discharges and a lot of accidental friendly fire. So kind of a negligent discharge on a friendly, which is, for most of you can guess, that's not good. We need to be shooting the enemy, not each other. So these rules were established. I believe it was in the 80s. There's a lot more history on that. That dude wrote a lot of good books. I suggest checking them out if you're new to all this. But without further ado, we're going to jump into the firearm safety rules themselves. So first and foremost for firearm safety rules is treat all guns as if they are loaded. That means do not be pointing them at anyone. Don't be handling them in a crazy way. Don't be tossing the gun on the kitchen table. Don't be doing anything that you wouldn't do with it loaded, right? So, obviously if a gun is loaded, you're going to treat it totally different. Always treat the gun as if it is loaded. That's just a safe way out of that, so you have no accidents. And you definitely don't want them getting in the wrong hands. You wouldn't leave a loaded gun where your child could get it. So even if it's unloaded, don't leave it where your child could get it, for example. Okay. Rule number 2, very important. Keep your finger off and away from the trigger until you're on target and ready to fire. Alec Baldwin. So we don't want to put our finger on the trigger unless we are literally shooting a target and we're on target. That one's pretty self-explanatory. Very important. If for whatever reason you're getting ready to dry fire or whatever, you're pulling your gun out at home, obviously keep your finger off and away from the trigger the best you can. That's very important. Rule number 3, do not point your gun at anything you do not intend to destroy, is the way it was originally worded. And that means if you don't want to shoot it, don't point at it. That's, again, pretty self-explanatory, but that one's a hard one for a lot of new shooters because they don't, when you're new to this, you're not thinking about all these rules simultaneously. So it's good to read these rules, go through them, and just try to get the stuff going in your head already. But rule number 3, don't point your gun at anything, even if it's unloaded. Don't be pointing it at anything you don't want to shoot. Okay, and for number 4, last but definitely not least, is to know what's in front of and behind your target. As you can see here, we're shooting into basically a small mountain. And in front of the target, if I were, say where you are, Mr. Camera, or whoever's looking through the camera, if I was shooting from there, I would obviously make sure nothing is going to cross my path or standing in front of where I'm shooting. And I know when the bullet goes through the target, it's just going to go into some dirt. So that's one thing as far as self-defense classes they teach, and being very aware of if you did have to defend yourself or someone else, to make sure innocent bystanders aren't going to get in the way of who you're trying to put down. So it's very important to always be conscious of that when you're using a firearm. That is the 4 firearm safety rules. Anyone that already knows those, you should be teaching them to everyone that you love and care about. It's very important that anyone that is going to handle a firearm knows those rules in and out. It is our job in a firearm community to teach those to people that's coming into the community that's new to it. One other thing, it's very important I want to mention about the rules. Those rules follow you everywhere you go. Those are not just range rules. Those rules will follow you in the middle of a gunfight. That is actually where I learned them at, is when I was learning to gunfight. So it is very important that you know these, and they go with you everywhere. as long as you carry a firearm. Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. Be an asset to those around you, not a liability. God bless.